Well, hello, and it is time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air Shorty with your host, Charles Taylor. I am here to discuss the Los Angeles Clippers, and I have to come on here and talk about the Clippers because, well, they they showed some toughness. I have to give them that. Now, if you recall, we had done a webcast where you had myself, you had Patrick Brackett, and our friend Stan Franklin on there discussing the first round playoff series. And at the time, we just knew what four of them were going to be because they were doing the play in system for the NBA. And once we got into the Clippers Mavericks series, it was funny because Stan and Patrick, they both had the Mavericks winning. And I had the Clippers winning. Look, first off, this isn't an I told you so moment toward Patrick and Stan. It's not really what this is about because honestly, I was hoping the Mavericks did win. I would not have minded being wrong about that because I just don't feel like the Clippers are that good. But I felt like they would have enough to win the series against Dallas because at the time I said Kristaps Porzingis had to be healthy. Well, come to find out, Kristaps Porzingis was healthy, and honestly, it was almost like he was injured because he didn't do much in the series. That's another story for another day. But give credit to the Clippers because they were down 2 games to 0 and 3 games to 2, having to win games here in Dallas. As you guys know, I am here in Dallas, Fort Worth, residing here. And the Clippers had to win 3 games in Dallas to keep their season alive. And then ultimately, they were able to come back home to LA for a game 7 and put the series away 126-111. So, give the Clippers some credit for showing some mental toughness. And Kawhi Leonard in these last couple of games showed why he is looked at as an elite player in this league. So, be as it may, give the Clippers credit. They moved on. And now they face the Utah Jazz in the first round with game 1 tonight in Salt Lake City. Now, what I wanted to discuss about the Clippers, besides them moving on, is some of the headlines that were put in place after they got rid of the Mavericks in the first round series. One of them really stuck out to me, and it was a headline that was from ESPN in regards to the Clippers winning this series. So I wrote it down, so bear with me here because I just want to make sure I had the wording right. So the headline it said, Clips exercise demons rally past Mavs in 7 games. What demons did the Clippers exercise is what I'm wondering about this because look, they were in the second round last year. They beat the Mavericks last year in the same first round while they were in the bubble. But when they got into the second round, as we all know, they had the Denver Nuggets down 3 games to 1 in the best of 7 series in the semifinals, and then they completely and utterly collapsed and lost the series in 7 games. Denver came back. Jamal Murray went nuts on them in terms of scoring from all over the court. And then you had Pandemic P, Paul George, born from there because he was terrible down in the bubble. And Kawhi Leonard didn't play up to his standard down there. Now, it's not all about those two guys, although they are the forefront of what the Clippers have there. I mean, they have a good supporting cast, and they're going to need every little bit of them if they're going to beat Utah and ultimately advance to where they're expected to go. They need Marcus Morris. It is Marcus, right? I mean, I know he has a twin brother, Marquise. Sometimes I get them confused. But you had Marcus Morris hitting threes in game 7. Reggie Jackson played a big part. You have Rajon Rondo, Luke Kennard coming off the bench. I mean, the Clippers, if they can put it together they do have a squad. Now, the crazy thing is, even though I am not sold on the Clippers at all, I still see them getting bounced out somewhere, probably against Utah, if not later on, if they're able to make it there. Because I'm just not sold on them. I just think they're just still just way too inconsistent. But on paper, I mean I haven't seen the betting lines in regards to where they have the Clippers, but I can understand because of the talent they do have on the team. I can understand if the Vegas odds makers had them as the favorite to come out of the West now because of the talent they do have. But again, I'm not really sold on them. More on that in a minute. But in regards to the Clippers exercising demons and stuff, they didn't exercise anything. This is a team that has championship expectations. It's been that way ever since Kawhi Leonard decided to come to the Clippers a couple of years back. It's been that way since Paul George was traded for basically the whole team. I think it was Shea Gilgeous. I don't know if I said that right. SGA, Gilgeous Alexander, Shea Gilgeous Alexander, and Danilo Garnari at the time, who is now with the Atlanta Hawks, and 5 first round picks, something crazy that like that. So they traded a bunch of assets and players to get Paul George. So from that moment on, it has been championship or bust. I don't care what pandemic piece said down there in the bubble after they got knocked out, talking about this wasn't a championship or bust season. Yeah, it was, Paul. It totally was. And I bet you if you were able to get to the championship, that tune would have been changed because you would have been talking about how, well, it was a championship or bust season. Funny how narratives change depending on what happens. But anyway, they were expected to be in the championship series last year, and the expectations are around the same this year. So, them getting out of the first round in 7 games, that's not exercising demons at all. As a matter of fact, it's not doing anything but what you're supposed to do if you're a team with the expectations the Clippers have. But them struggling to get out of the first round against a Mavericks team that is basically Luka Doncic and everybody else, I don't think that speaks highly of what the Clippers can do. They have the talent to get far, but when they're playing teams like Utah, and then later on, if they're able to get there between the winner of the Denver Nuggets Phoenix Suns series, inconsistent play like that's not going to cut it. You may be able to get away with that against Dallas, but against teams like Utah, you're not going to be able to get away with that. So the Clippers better have their A game going forward. So, but not, demons exercise, no, there's nothing that was exercised there because it doesn't mean a thing if they go to this next round and they get bounced out. Basically, they just did the same thing they did last year, except for if they're not able to at least get to the NBA Finals, there's going to be a lot of changes with this team. It could come close to just getting blown up altogether because now you would have had this core group for 2 years and you're falling way short of expectations. So, uh, demons, there no demons has been exercised. This is just them doing what they're supposed to do and they almost got bounced out. I give them partial credit for fighting back from a 2-0 deficit. And not only were they down 2-0, but they were down by 19 points at the beginning of game 3. Looked like they were ready to get ran out of the stadium, out of the American Airlines Center, but they did recover. They did fight back. They showed heart. I will give the Clippers that credit. But again, you are not about just getting out of the first round of the NBA playoffs. You have championship expectations. Anything less than a trip to the NBA Finals is another colossal failure for the Clips. Just that simple. Period. End of story. That's all it is for the Clippers. Get to the finals. You get bounced out against Utah. up and coming Utah team, then there's going to have to be some breaking up of the team. And to me, they're not too far from the Brooklyn Nets in terms of expectations. If these two teams don't make it to the NBA Finals, then it's a failure. It's simple as that. So we'll see what the Clippers are able to do later on, starting with tonight with Game 1 against the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City. But I'm still not that high on them. Good job for getting out of the first round, but I'm going to need to see more from you. Well, that's what I'm breathing on for today on this shorty. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. There is a live webcast that is scheduled for later on tonight, and I am supposed to have Patrick Brackett with me on that webcast. So we hope to see you there. Hope to catch y'all there so y'all can interact with us. And until then, y'all take it easy and happy Tuesday.